Who are some of the worst? Like, let's name some of the worst draft busts of all time, right?
We do any sport?
No. Let's do football.
Okay. This gonna be one of those conversations that wasn't initially supposed to be about the Browns, but you can already tell it's about to be about the Browns. So
Don't be exposing the plays. Don't be calling out the plays. Don't be calling out the plays.
When you talk with we Browns fans, if anybody knows about draft busts, it's us.
We had some good picks. We've had some good picks. What you mean? Joe Hayden.
Joe Thomas.
Long gap between Joe Hayden and the next guy. Denzel Ward. Myles Garrett.
David Njoku's good.
And we could have got TJ Watt. Well, I mean, like, let's some other buzz. Let's broaden it out for the NFL, right? So, like, some of the obvious ones, Jamarcus Russell.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be there for Jamarcus Russell. I feel like people who are younger than us don't understand. Yes, it was like that for Jamarcus Russell. They were absolutely hyping that up. Like, it's not a myth. We really thought that was going to be John Elway. It was crazy. I remember watching the video. It was on Sports Center for like the whole summer, or the whole spring, of him throwing that pro day ball on his knees, 80 yards or however long he did it. And it was like, this is the new vibe. He is the original. Look, Josh Allen can run because Jamarcus Russell flopped. Right? Like, without Jamarcus Russell, we don't get to Josh Allen. Right? Like, because that was the original Josh Allen.
Now you really got to think of like.
Think about that draft too. The first pick was him. The second pick, I believe, was Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest receivers of all time. Then I think AP was picked in there, one of the greatest running backs of all time. And then Joe Thomas was picked in the top 5 of that draft too, one of the greatest tackles of all time. Literally every team but the team with the number 1 overall pick got, like, not just a Hall of Famer called first ballot. Darrelle Revis was in that draft. Okay. like that 2007 draft. Like, there are some drafts, like 2013 is one of them drafts where, like, oh, you got Barkevious Mingo. It didn't matter. Nobody else really hit on anything. Like, the best player in that draft is like, I don't even know. Who is the best? Tyrann Mathieu? Is it Tyrann Mathieu in that draft? But then there are some drafts that are painful. Right, 2007 draft. It sucked to missing that draft. Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch, Patrick Willis, Darrelle Revis. And then we get to the guys who are just regular hits. You know, Dwayne Bowe, like, really good for his time. Greg Olsen, Joe Staley was in this draft. Ben Grubb was in this draft.
Jesus.
Eric Weddle.
Oh, we were just talking about
Eric Weddle. My boy, they didn't let him play corner, but, you know, they put him at safety. He was still very good. That's a crazy draft, right? So if you one of them teams that drafted Jamarcus Russell, you know the team that I know got to be mad at themselves? Who drafted a corner? Right. Oh, Ted Ginn went top 10 in that draft. Like,
hey, Cleveland legend. Salute Ted Ginn.
Hey, man. Shout out to Ted Ginn. Still very fast, I would bet. Oh, Amobe Okoye was in that draft. Remember, he was like 19.
2007 was so long ago, bro.
Yep. It did. There's another draft that's crazy. I think the 2011 draft is another crazy one. Oh, yeah, this draft is crazy, right? Now, Blaine Gabbert, I think, is a bust in this draft. But, like, honestly, is it a bust if we all knew it was happening? Like, who really was out here, like, other than Jaguars fans, who was really out here believing in Blaine Gabbert? I don't think anybody. But Cole, I'm gonna name some of the players that are drafted in this 2011 draft. Cam Newton.
Oof.
Von Miller.
Oh.
AJ Green. Pat Pete. Julio Jones.
Oh, this is the Julio draft.
Alden Smith.
Oh, hey, can we talk about Alden Smith real quick?
One of the greatest to never be.
Hey,
he's the
man.
Josh Gordon of edge rushers.
He is the Josh Gordon of edge rushers. I thought he was gonna be an all-time edge rusher, dog.
If you ever want to know how good Alden Smith was, this was known as the Alden Smith draft for a period of time.
For a solid like 2 years, this was the Alden Smith draft.
People were actually asking themselves, should the Broncos have taken Alden Smith? And that speaks to how good he was because Tyron Smith and J.J. Watt were in this draft.
Man, you had to be there in the first 2 seasons, dog. You had to be there.
It was nuts. It was nuts. So those are the kind of drafts that you don't want to miss in. But what we noticed, 07, there's not that many misses, right? The one miss is the one that was like, okay, I get how you missed on that with Jamarcus Russell. Nobody really missed in 2011. Now, the next draft that I feel like was crazy was the 2014 draft. And Cole, a lot of teams missed. And the teams that missed, ooh, they missed. Okay, Cole? The teams that missed. But the teams that hit. Right? Honestly, it's so unfair to the Houston Texans because they're the one team that went, with their pick. Like, he wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. He was it. Jadeveon Clowney, number 1 overall in that draft, but you couldn't not take him. Number 2 in that draft, St. Louis Rams. You know who they picked? Greg Robinson.
Who's they pick?
Greg Robinson.
Ooh, I was about to just bring.
They drafted the weed man. They drafted the weed man.
Drafted the plug.
Plug.
Drafted the plug.
They drafted the weed man, number 2 overall. And they traded up for the weed man to protect what was left of RG3 at that point. Well, not RG3. It was Stan Bradford at the time.
Sam Bradford, I think. I think it was Bradford.
Yeah. The Jacksonville Jaguars selected Blake Bortles. Ooh. And you know what? I don't know if that one was a bigger failure. It's not. It's not a bigger failure than Greg Robinson because you can convince yourself that Blake Bortles worked out.
He won a playoff game, didn't he? Did he win a playoff game?
He was on a team that won a playoff game, yes.
All right. Okay.
You know what I mean? He was on the team that won a playoff game.
Could be worse.
They had success with him. It could be worse. Sammy Watkins was a bit of a, we thought he was going to be so good coming out of college. By the way, the Browns had the 4th pick in that draft. All right, Cole, this is where this draft gets ridiculous. Khalil Mack.
Ooh.
Jake Matthews. Mike Evans.
Oh,
I'm going to skip 1 pick. Anthony Barr. Eric Ebron, who's all right, but he made a Pro Bowl. Taylor Lewan, Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald.
Ooh.
Kyle Fuller, Ryan Shazier, Zach Martin, CJ Mosley.
Hey, Ryan Shazier, man. Man.
By the way, do you know Clinton Dix is a coach now?
Really?
Yes. Hashan Clinton Dix is a coach for Alabama. He's the director of player development.
Good for Clinton Dix, man.
You know what, man? I wonder if he still goes by Like, does he go by Hashan or does he still go by
He a coach now, so I feel like he go by Hashan.
He might be Coach It is the South. Like, these things happen. These things happen down here.
He coach ha, but he don't laugh.
Hey, it might be one of them things was like, don't make coach laugh. You know what I mean? He might give them, some coaches do this. Some coaches have the ridiculous name to dare the kids to laugh at them so they can show them.
Hey, he coach ha, but ain't shit funny?
Uh-huh. Coach Clinton Dix. You know what I mean? Like, he's begging them. Call me Coach Dix. Like,
You know, you say that in front of the players, and they probably be like, trying to keep
hey
it together.
man, all I'm saying is this dude had a 10-year NFL career. He went through his adolescence with the name Ha Ha Clinton Dix. I don't think them little boys want it. Okay, like I don't think he's 30. He's not that old. He can still give it to you if you think it's too funny. But he was drafted there, Pro Bowler. Then another pick went. And then D Ford went after the one pick. Browns pick Justin Gilbert in this draft. And I'm going to ask you the question that's going to be the title of this video. Is Justin Gilbert the biggest bust that we just let slide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know how I knew it was bad? And people who aren't Browns fans won't notice. I knew it was bad when Joe Thomas was complaining about him. That's how I knew it was bad. I was like, they've made a terrible mistake.
Yep.
He straight up said, he's like, it's hard to be successful. I'm paraphrasing. It's hard to be successful if you don't like playing football. I was like, oh no.
And you know what was worse about that, Cole? As Browns fans, we were like, which first round pick is he talking about? Because they also drafted Johnny Manziel.
Who was our GM? Was that Ray Farmer?
That was Ray Farmer. Ray Farmer. The worst thing that I will never forgive Drake for. He dropped that song Draft Day. And it's actually a decent song. But the chorus, Draft Day, A. Wiggins. And then it goes on, Draft Day, Johnny Manziel. I'm like, why you got to remind us? Why you got to remind us in both the bars? We thought it was our time here in Cleveland, too. We forgot. In 2014, we like, Drake made a song about us. We got Andrew Wiggins. And then LeBron came back. And LeBron had the Johnny football jersey on. And we thought it was time. And the team started off 7-3. Cole, we thought it was we was ready. It was our moment. What happened?
So
ask me what the Browns finished their record as after Josh Gordon returned. What did they finish their record as? They were 7-4 in first place.
Finished the season 7-9.
They finished 7-9. Kevin Love got his shoulder torn off. We lose to the Warriors in 6.
I remember that year. Because I was in college. And we were so hyped when they were 7-4. I was like, finally, dog. I was like, finally, we back.
I was talking
so much shit.
So much shit. They had this Thursday night game. And if my friend Keontae is listening to this video, brother, I am sorry. But they had this Thursday night game against the Bengals. And I remember I was so hyped up for it, Cole. I thought I was in the game. Like, I was walking around the dorm room quiet before kickoff with my music on, getting pumped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was ready to go in. Browns came out, whooped them. I ran straight to my homeboy Keontae's room. I knew he was from Cincinnati. I knew he was watching the game too. And he was talking big mess about how A.J. Green was going to cook up Joe Hayden. And I had asked him, how many receiving yards did A.J. Green have? It's probably the same amount of touchdowns he had in that game. And the same amount of receptions. That boy went statless. Okay? That boy went statless in that game. We wanted to pay Brian Hoyer like $90 million after that game.
Hey, Cleveland legend.
Mm-hmm. My friend Keontae wanted to fight me after that. We ended up being cool, but he wanted to fight me after that. Rightfully so. I should have gave him a couple minutes before I reminded him that A.J. Green got held statless.
You said it was too soon?
It was way too soon. The game hadn't ended yet. I didn't knock or nothing. I just barged in. I didn't know they held A.J. Green as a national treasure down there. Like, I didn't know to the extent that they loved A.J. Green. All right, Justin Gilbert or Josh Rosen? Who's a bigger bust? Now this is interesting. I'm gonna go Josh Rosen because you know what Justin Gilbert did it do? Say they made 9 mistakes before him and denied players that were drafted before him. Baker Mayfield ended up being better than Josh Rosen. Saquon Barkley, much better than Josh Rosen. Sam Darnold ended up being better than Josh Rosen. Denzel Ward, much better than Josh Rosen. Bradley Chubb, much better than Josh Rosen. Quentin Nelson, it ain't even close. Okay. Josh Allen, it's disrespectful to have that conversation. Okay. Roquan Smith.
Hey.
Mike McGlinchey. I don't even know if he had a good career, but I'm pretty sure he got to his second contract. That's the thing that makes John, the brazenness in which he did it, for him to be so bad that they were like, all right, we got this prototypical pocket passer with our 9th pick. He was so bad that we gonna gamble it all by throwing the number 1 overall pick at a 5'10", 200-pound dude from Texas A&M. That's how much Josh Rosen broke them. Okay. It wasn't like they gave it all up. It wasn't like the Cardinals gave it all up because Andrew Luck was coming out the draft. They were like, you know what, man? Kyler Murray's enough.
Hey, he's enough. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
He's enough.
Think about that. Josh Rosen was Mr. Pro ready. He was Mr. Prototypical quarterback. He's how you build him, how you cast him up. And they were like, nah, dog, we would rather go with 5'10" out of the box. You don't cut him up like this, Kyler Murray, than stick another year with you. There's 30 years of convention that Josh Rosen stunk so bad that the league was like, you know what? Never again. Will Levis got taken in the 3rd round because of Josh Rosen, dog. The lack of success he had changed the league. Okay? Changed the league. He was that bad. Justin Gilbert didn't change. I will say, Trent Richardson is sliding. Trent Richardson is sliding on this because another dude who changed the trajectory of his position group. Because running backs have had a hard time getting paid ever since Trent Richardson went number 3 overall in 2012.
Hey, y'all heard what Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley been saying recently? They struggling trying to get their money.
It's Trent Richardson's fault. It's 100% Trent Richardson's fault. We weren't having these conversations about Jamal Lewis. It was Trent Richardson. This is what happened. He got taken number 3 overall in 2012, and he was so bad after he got traded for a 1st-round pick in Indianapolis that the league decided never again. Never again.
Hey, people forget Jim Brown, God rest his soul. He said it from the jump. That man is an average running back.
And we had the mistake. We had the nerve to be like, nah, Jim hating. The excitement is a hell of a drug if you ever think about it.
We were
so hyped up on the Trent Richardson juice that Jim Brown, the greatest running back of all time, told us, nah, man, he ain't that good for real. And we was like, shut up, Jim Brown.
Dare us. How dare us?
We told Jim Brown to shut up. And it wasn't like he was talking about quarterbacks. He was talking about something he knows running backs.
Running backs.
And we collectively, unanimously told Jim Brown to shut up. Didn't invite him back to practice. Tried to make the man we tried to make Jim Brown apologize. Jim Brown. He don't apologize for nothing. Okay, very famously doesn't apologize for nothing. But we wanted Jim Brown to apologize for what he said about Trent Richardson.
I can't. When you really look back on some of the things we did, we had to go through as Browns fans. It's so crazy, dog.
That is insane.
Like for a franchise with a bunch of insane, just like cannot believe this happened to this team moments, that might be at the top of the list.
Is that Jim Brown told us he not good, and we was like, shut up.
Yes, that might be like number one most wild things we ever had to experience as fans.
Jimmy Haslam out here talking about he don't know what he talking about. The Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Jim Brown.
That's nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts.
We're not
Absolutely
talking about
nuts.
We're not talking about Montario Hardesty saying that.
Nope.
Jim Brown.
This is Jim Brown. Jim Brown. And nobody wanted to hear it. And part of me wishes that somebody heard it, because if Trent Richardson would have went in the 15th, we not out here trying to trade running backs in the second year they deal. Okay. we don't get as ridiculous as we do about it. So Josh Rosen and Trent Richardson to me going to the bus.